Hey everyone, my name is Jake and today we are going to be looking at some I Don't Work Here Lady stories, so sit back, relax and enjoy. I do work here, but that doesn't mean I'm always working. This happened just in the last 15 minutes, and my blood will be boiling for a while yet, I imagine. I work at a big box store that has a lot of blue. During this time of month, we are accepting donations for the IWK and offering cookies. While I generally do work as a door greeter, today I'm off. I came to pick up a treat or two, and happened to stop at the end where the cookie table is to say hello to a coworker. For reference, I always wear black and a bright yellow vest while on shift. Today, I'm wearing a grey jacket, a Harry Potter shirt, winter boots, and an obnoxious pink lanyard with my house keys attached to it. I'm browsing Reddit while waiting for my coworker to go on break, and standing near the table but not in front or by the cash box. I bought a vanilla Coke because we only get it in once a year, and this woman in her 60s or so walks by and snaps at me to put my phone away while I'm working. I looked up because she walked close enough to say it quietly, but in the most condescending tone. But as I work here, even off shift, I know I can't speak my mind as I wish I could. I'm still so angry at how she felt she could talk to me that way. I understand that she could have misunderstood and thought I was the one accepting the donations, but even then? How do you guys normally chill out after someone treats you this way? I am aware I'm taking it more personally than I should, but it still sucks. I'd personally just say just let it go, like she's probably awful to everyone she meets, she just seems like that kind of person. Lady lost her mind when I wouldn't clean her mat. So, quick background. I live close enough to my mother that we do this CrossFit class together every Saturday. It's fun and we bond. The class is an hour long and at the beginning we grab mats and weights. We tend to grab a few different types depending on the workout the guy assigns. You have to be early to this class because it's popular, and me and my mum grab spots in the back. The class fills up and all the regulars take their spots. There isn't much room, but there is space in the front. For the first half hour, everything is going well, then this lady comes in. She walks into the center of the room and stares at us, then goes and grabs a mat. I head over to a station on the TRX and begin my set. When I come back, I see this lady has pushed my mat into my weights and has made herself a spot. My mum is livid, but I wave her off. Don't get me wrong, I'm annoyed, but it happens and I continue the class. 5 minutes later, our instructor gives us the next set of workouts. I finish my workout on the mat and see there is a free TRX. If you don't know what it is, it's basically a rope you attach to the wall and do different exercises with. As I am pushing through a set, someone taps my shoulder. It's this lady. You finished 10. I counted. Stop hogging. First of all, I did not. Secondly, our instructor has us go through the sets twice in a round, so I was planning to go through twice. Thirdly, there was a free one right next to me. She then demands that I show her how we do the workout. I kinda show her my form, and then Mike the trainer comes by. She smugly looks at me and is like, "Good, someone is doing their job around here." I just shrug it off and then try to finish my set in peace. I go back to my workout and don't have anything with her till the end of the class. At the end, our instructor hands out wipes for us to clean the mats with before we return them. My mum was returning the weights while I was wiping our mats. As I'm wiping my mum's down, a mat is thrown at me and lands on my hands. I'm on my hands and knees. I look up and it's this woman again. She is kinda smugly looking down at me, throws down her wipe, and then begins to walk away. I get up with her mat and hand it back to her. Excuse me, that's not where you leave them. What? You are cleaning them. You need to clean mine. Yeah, just this one and mine. What makes her special? She is my mum. That doesn't matter. It's your job to clean these. I was kind of floored at the idea I worked there, only because I am working on losing weight. I'm not obese, but I certainly don't have a trainer's body. I don't work here. Stop being bratty. It's clear you work here. What? You clearly work here. I can see your uniform. Plus, you were helping that woman the whole time. For the record, the supposed uniform was black leggings and a blank tank, and there wasn't one. Me picking up my mat and my mum's, I do not work here, leave me alone. She then begins screaming the instructor's name and he comes up, with my mum right behind him. She had seen some of the stuff and was pretty much over this lady. Mike, on the other hand, has no idea. He can tell from my face that I'm annoyed. What's going on? You need to fire this woman. She is refusing to clean my mat and spent the whole lesson ignoring me. Mike, who at this point understands my annoyance, she doesn't work here, but I can clean your mat. I also should tell you we don't clean mats in the future. At this point, the lady huffs out and marches downstairs. I think that's the end of it till my mother and I go down to see this woman screaming at the front desk. She sees me and then points. Her, get that brat fired. She used brat way too much. The front desk guy is this pretty innocent kid, probably in high school. She doesn't work here, ma'am. At this point, her face is as red as it gets. She screams and then walks out. My mum made us wait inside until she left the parking lot, probably for the best. Oh, I really hope she never had to deal with that woman again because, she would have got on my nerves. The stance. I worked as a bouncer for several years while putting myself through uni. Excellent gig for a student really, because it's mostly weekends and evenings. Nobody will call you to catch a shift because Carol called in sick again, and so on. The problem, of course, is that on Friday and Saturday nights, as well as events happening in the middle of the week, my job was to stand still outside a pub's door for 6 hours straight. And this went on for years. This led to me developing the stance, which is what allows you to just stand around and loiter for hours on ends. If you want to see the stance, just look at anyone who does this kind of stuff for a living, and you'll see what I mean. Feet planted about shoulders breadth apart, knees not locked, and often with thumbs hooked into a belt loop or a pocket. Another problem, of course, is that my hair started departing when I was still in my mid-20s. So instead of desperate measures to try and conceal my scalp, I buzzcut on a bi-weekly basis. I also have a beard on my mug, but during summers, when it gets too hot to keep a full beard, it usually gets cropped down to a goatee. I quit smoking in 2011, but sometimes when I drink, I give in to the urge for a cig. I've made it a routine to habitually quit smoking again after a night out. No stress. My workmates at the last place I worked liked to go out for payday beers first Friday after getting paid for the month. It tended to be a real good affair, right from work on Friday. First going for a bite to eat somewhere, and then drinks. When I got there, the guys already had a regular haunt, which was a favorite, because it would open at 4 in the afternoon, so it would be practically guaranteed to get a table. First time I joined them for this affair, I almost got into trouble. I was hanging around minding my own business when a couple of student girls came pitter-pattering up to me, showing me their ID. I just laughed and told them to go on in. I don't even work here. Another gaggle of girls just rounding the corner sees the wee one showing me their IDs before going in, so I barely get a drag of my cig before I have a new bouquet of IDs presented to me. By now, one of the bartenders have seen what's going on and comes rushing out. "The freak kind of an act are you trying to pull here?" I tried to calmly explain to him that I never asked to see any ID and was just trying to have my cig, but had them shoved into my face. But as I'm midway through explaining things to him, 3 first years come up to the door and without a word flips out IDs to me. I just shrug, nothing I can do about it, I suppose. The bartender grudgingly accepts and calms down. Throughout early evenings, this kept being a problem every time I went out for a cig, until the actual bouncer employed by the place showed up at 8. Of course, both being veterans of the same thing, we got to talk rather quickly, and ended up trading plenty of war stories. As I said, the guys I worked with had made it our regular place for payday beers before I even arrived. We still kept that in the way for as long as I worked there. But the jerks at the bar couldn't help themselves, the smart butts they were. About 3 months after the first incident, I'm headed out the door to have a cig when one of the girls at the bar comes after me out the door and with a smug grin on her face presents me with a lanyard with a laminated tag on it that says, "I don't work here," and tells me to come fetch it from the bar when I go on smoke breaks. Oh no, that's gonna be so confusing to everyone. They're gonna be like, wait, he has a lanyard on, so he must work here, but it says I don't work here on it. Oh. You sure you want me to do that, officer? Wrong department, buddy. So I worked for the IT help desk of our local city council. When one early morning at around 5:30 a.m., my mother stormed into my room, scaring the heck out of me and my cat. Half asleep, I asked why she was screaming at me. Clearly in a panic, she told me that the police were on the phone and asking for me. Now, I won't go into detail, but suffice to say, my first thoughts were, what did I do now? And I didn't do anything, did I? Still half asleep, I walked downstairs and got on the phone and vaguely asked, "Yes?" I got a reply along the lines of, "God dang it, it's always the same with you guys. Don't you know it's market day?" Yeah, every Wednesday, isn't it? It is every Wednesday and has been since around 1302 AD. What? Are you gonna start making a joke out of this? Me, slowly starting to wake up completely. No, I just don't get. The police cutting me off angrily. "Your car is on the market square, and they can't set up the stalls, dang it. Get over here now and move this dang car." The IT department was next to the market square, so sometimes the car did indeed stay parked there overnight. Me, really having issues with people screaming at me, no problem, be right there. Now usually I rode my bike to work, but seeing as it was clearly a pressing matter, I asked my dad, who had awoken from my mother's frantic behavior, to drive me to the market square. On the way there, I explained the situation and my dad couldn't help but give a chuckle and told me, "Don't do anything stupid." To which I gave him a smile, shrugged with a Han Solo-esque grin, told him, "Hey, it's the cops. My father snickered and shook his head, knowing that doing something stupid was somewhat of my middle name. If a police officer tells you to do something, you do it, right? We arrived at the market, where people were already setting up stalls to prepare for market day, except for where I spotted the car of the IT hardware department, and about 15 meters behind it, a police car with its lights flashing. I got out and slowly walked over to the two officers that were standing near their car. One of them immediately launched into a tirade about how we were all the same, and how we IT guys always thought we ran things. Which basically we did, including their IT. Once he paused, I calmly asked him what he wanted me to do. Again, he blew up, nearly screaming, "Move that effing car!" Not wanting there to be any doubt, I asked if he was sure, and he truly nearly lost it, screaming incoherently words like arrest and jail. Okay, calm down, I'll do it if you insist. Let me go up to the office and look for the keys. So off I went. I went to our offices, where I was met by our cleaning coffee lady, who asked why I was in so early. So I explained the situation, and that the hardware department's car was on the market square again. Confused, she asked me, "But that's not your department, is it?" To which I sighed, "Nope, do you know where the keys are?" So together we looked for the keys, which we found rather quickly. I asked if she'd accompany me down because the police were making me nervous, which she kindly and graciously did. Upon getting back down, it was clear that Angry One hadn't calmed down, and that I'd probably taken longer to get the keys than he wanted. In quick strides, he walked up to us, and without a word, I tried to hand him the keys, which he didn't notice because he screamed in an angry and high-pitched voice, "Move that danged car!" At this point, our cleaning/coffee lady looked at me and said, "But you..." I shrug and give her the most roguish smile I could muster at that time. She smiled, gently shaking her head. Once more, and just to make sure I got things straight, I calmly and politely asked, "So you're telling me I have to move that car?" Now, I'd seen cops get angry before, but never turn red with figurative steam coming out of their ears. He blew up and pulled out his nightstick and took one step forward as if to indicate I was getting close to either getting arrested or smacked over the head. I turned and quickly made it over the car, nervously but loudly muttering things like, "Under duress and not my job." I got in the car, fumbled with the keys somewhat, and in 3 or 4 tries started the car. I waited about a minute, and then the car sputtered forward and stopped. I tried again. Again, the car sputtered, but then it took off, like a freaking rocket. All I remember from the short drive is seeing our cleaning/coffee lady bursting out laughing as I passed just before I plowed straight into the police car. As I was getting out, somewhat dazed, I saw the 2 police officers stand there, white as sheets and utterly perplexed. I stammered at them the immortal words, I don't know how to drive, man. I just pick up the phones and help people." So yes, they'd called the only person in all of the IT departments that didn't have a driver's license, and just worked on the phones. And one that doesn't really like the police, nor getting woken up hours before I have to get up. I suffered no consequences, as there were CCTV cameras filming it all, with audio, which I of course knew, and our cleaning/coffee lady clearly heard the cop order me to move the car. Having known the mayor since I was 12 helped too, of course. So the moral of this story is, always do what the police tell you to do. I'd say that fits in more of a malicious compliance than an I don't work here lady, but yeah. I mean, you probably could have just said on the phone, "Oh, my bad, I don't have a license, you might want to call someone else." But, you know, if you want to go that way, sure. Wow guys, look on screen right now, you see those 2 videos right there? They're pretty good. I think you should click at least one of them and watch another one.